Hello again, everybody. Pam Premiani here. I wanted to do a video about how to make things work for you, even though that's not the way they were originally made. So that's what we're going to talk about. And what I'm wearing right now is Estetica Avalon in Americano. Let's see what the numbers are. Americano 10, 26, 101, RT4. And this wig is actually a left mono part. But you see, I don't have it parted on the left. It has a lace front here, and then there's this left mono part right here. I hate a left mono part. I would rather the center or slightly right, as you see what I'm doing. So I'm going to tell you what I did. I grabbed my trusty Jon Renau comb, and all I did was I brushed it straight back from behind the monofilament part, just all the way back so that there's really no part. Because on this wig and other Esteticas that I have also, you cannot kind of fudge the part. If you do, you can see the wefts and like the glue that's on top of each weft. It's very visible, which you don't want that to happen. On belle tress wigs with lace fronts, I noticed that those wefts don't show when you try to fudge the part someplace else. But on the Esteticas, these long ones, it does show. So that's what I did. I just pushed it all back. And then since this is a lace front, I kind of let it fall right here. And then I gave it a spray to hold this going straight back to cover the wefts. The actual part is right around here, but I'm not using it. I suppose if you're good with steaming, you could get it brushed back and then just steam it in place. I just grabbed some Brandywine spray and sprayed it and did it that way. Now I'm just going to show you the colors now. This is really a beautiful color. My natural hair color was about this dark. This is about what it was. It might have been slightly redder, but it was very, very dark, and it only used to look red in the sun. And they have these highlights painted on, and a lot of my friends had said this is their favorite wig of mine. Wig, whatever. It is a rig. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a spin now so you can really see the color and what the back looks like. The daylight in this room right now is not that good because it is pouring rain here in southern New Jersey. Oh, I also wanted to point out, here we have my cat, Charlie. No, that's not Charlie. That's Sammy. I have too many cats. I can't keep them straight. I just painted that picture of Sammy to go with the boopy. So there'll be one more coming along soon that I'm working on. It'll wind up being a series of 4. I'll show you when I'm done. So this wig, let me get close so you can really see. It's sort of a frosty, there's these frosty highlights that really start to get heavy as you come down to this part of the wig and the top. Even the top, where it's the solid color, has a lot of highlights. It really picks up the light. See, look at that. Very pretty wig. I highly recommend this one for big-headed people. This is big head friendly. I should mention my measurements. I'm 23 around circumference. I'm only 12 ear to ear, which is kind of like child size. So this is how I can get away with some average cap wigs, because I have like no head up here, but it's big around. So this is why it's important to not just measure your circumference, because that's only a portion of what your total head size is. And you'll find that you may be petite in one area and large in another. And it's really trial by error and finding out which caps feel good on you. So just Give it a try. You can't always go by reviews either, because I just bought a wig this week. I'll show it to you in another video, where people were saying that the average cap ran a little small, and I was worried. I actually put off buying it for many months because I thought, oh, I don't think this is going to fit me. But when I got it, it's actually pretty good. So you never know. You can't even go by what other people say. Take all your measurements, and if some of your measurements are large and others are petite, you could probably get away with an average, but certain brands are going to feel better to you, and certain caps. Also, basic caps are different than lace fronts or monotops. It's trial and error. Now, speaking of fixing things that don't work, I'm going to show you another wig, because while we're on the subject of large and average, I'm going to show you this. Okay, she's very messy. This is Jon Renau. Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. This is Jon Renau Kristen, I believe. Let me look it up on my list. Yes, Jon Renau Kristen. No. Never mind what I said. It's not Jon Renau Kristen. This is, here we go, Jon Renau Angelique. Different girl's name, right? So this is Jon Renau Angelique in 8RH14. And as you see, this is kind of a medium brown with bangs. I haven't decided if I'm going to cut them. I'm kind of just side sweeping them. It's a basic cap. And I bought this in a large, which was probably a mistake because it's large. It was really, really large. I mean, super swimming. I had decided to buy a large because my Jon Renau January is kind of snug. The cap is short. So, and I had been kind of staying away from Jon Renau for a while, even though my Kristen fits good. That's the little blonde bob I have. The January was short. So I said, let me try a large. I shouldn't have done that because this cap was way too big and I really couldn't wear it. I did put a wig grip on to try to hold it, but it was swimming. I could put my hand back here and just grab like 4 wefts. It's too big. So I decided, well, I'm going to take it in. So I've seen videos where people actually, I'm going to show you. They actually they cut some of these, I call them ladders. I don't know what they're called, but they cut these ladders in certain places and they pull out the wefts. I decided I didn't really want to do that because, it seems so permanent to actually cut the ladders and remove the wefts. So what I did instead was I grabbed some of the wefts and I sewed them together. You can kind of see where I just grabbed some, I sewed them together in a couple of different spots. And that helped. Now that made this thing wearable. And this way, it's not so permanent and so dangerous as removing the wefts. I just push them together. And you can't tell, I'm gonna give it a spin around so you can see the back. You really can't tell. Right? You would never know that I did this to the wefts. So I actually think I need to sew a couple more together because I did it in the back, but I didn't do it on the sides. That did wind up raising the ear tabs a little bit. And so now you see some of my bio here shows. But I couldn't have left it the way it was because it was just no good, no good. So this is an option if you have a wig that it just seems too big. What this one video reviewer had talked about was you just take your hand and kind of grab in the back and see, then take the wig off and see how many wefts you're grabbing. And that'll give you an idea of how many you need to sew together. What I did was I actually sewed fewer together than what I grabbed, just to err on the side of caution, figuring I can always Add another one later on. I wouldn't sew them all together in the same spot. Maybe do a couple here and a couple there, a couple on the sides. I still have a little bit too much room on the sides. So that's an option if you wind up with a wig that's just too big. And if you're a petite head, there's not a lot of choices in a petite. So if you're wearing an average, that might be swimming on you and it might not feel secure. You want to have it feel that, you can go out in the wind, you can shake your head without it falling off. I'm going to put my head down. Right? And we're good. Nothing is slipping. It should be snug enough on your head. Now, I'm not wearing a wig grip. I don't really like them. I find that they kind of slide off, and really, what's the use? So I like my wig to fit without anything. I have enough porcupine-like bio hair that it kind of gets a little bit of friction. If you have no hair, you might need the wig grip to give it a little bit of friction. But for your my fellow buzzed head ladies out there, your buzz cut will give it a little bit of friction for it to help grab. So this is Angelique, Jon Renau. I like this one very much. The fibers feel very silky. I'm going to get close. You can kind of see some of the permatease. It's got a little bit of permatease up here, but yeah. Look, this is how people are going to see me back here, right? Nobody, except my husband, is going to be getting this close to me like, let me see the top of your head. No, this is not going to happen. People are going to see you from this distance, and you can't tell. It looks real. So don't worry about seeing a little bit of permatease on the top. You need it for the height. And no one's going to get that close to you that, you have permatease. You're wearing a wig. If you're not a wig wearer, you don't even know what permatease is. So I'm going to show you one more that I had to put back together. All right, you're going to remember in a previous video, actually the one right before this, I had on Vivica Fox Orlando V in, what was the color? Vivica Fox P4 2730, which was medium dark brown, honey blonde, and copper blonde mix. Now this is the one that I really loved because it reminded me of my bio hair. It's not exactly, because my actual bio hair was much more kinky than this wig. And when I did the video last time and I did the spin, I saw that there was a defect in the back of the wig. There was a big hole where the wefts, the ladders actually weren't sewn together properly. They were like fanned out like this. But I really liked the wig. So what I did, you'll notice in the front of this wig, it has a lot of these gold highlights. But there were no gold highlights in the back. So I went to the hair store, my local hair store. I actually have a lot of them in town. There's two half a mile away from me, and there's more further out. So hopefully you have a store nearby so you can actually see the hair in the package and see what the texture is going to be like. If you try to order it from Amazon, it's kind of hard to picture what exactly you're getting. So I cut little pieces of wefts from this package of hair. I found it in more the gold color, and I sewed them in. I just, like a little weft, tack it, tack it, tack it, tack it. I just kind of tacked them all over. I rolled up the weft, shoved it in the hole, and tacked the top. And I added more hair to this wig. So now I'm going to put it on for you. I don't have any more holes. Terrific. Where's my ear tabs? Okay, here they are. Here we go. So I'm going to do a spin, and wherever you see these gold highlights in the back, that's what I sewed into this wig. And there we go. So why did I not return the wig? Well, I had already worn it by the time I figured out that there was a hole in it. You know, you don't really see the back of your head. And since learning this lesson, every time I get a new wig now, I do a spin and I have my husband and son inspect the back, because who knows, you know, I could have had other wigs sitting in my closet with a hole in them. You wouldn't know unless someone's taking a picture of the back of your head. And you have to also take a picture of the back of your head, but you know, you have to move. Just standing still, you might not see the hole. So that's a good idea to check every time you get a wig. So you don't have to necessarily accept a wig the way it is. You can do some subtle changes to it, like add more hair to a wig. That might even come in handy if you had a damaged wig. If you could find hair, similar texture, similar color, or if you can't find the exact color, maybe you could add highlights. If there were no blonde highlights here, I could add them. Now, clearly, you can't really add them. You can't add them to this part of the wig where the front is, unless you actually open this up. I don't know if I would want to get into it, but from this part of the cap back, you could add. Yeah, let's put her back on again. There we go. So, just some tips. And if you do damage a wig, there's some hope. You might be able to put more hair back in it. If your wig is too big and it keeps slipping off your head, because your wig should not be slipping off your head. So you can make it smaller. And I just wanted to pass that on. Oh, and the part. You don't necessarily have to live with the part where you don't want it. You can play with it a little bit and try to fudge it. Try to fudge a different part. So that's all for today. Next time, I'm going to show you some more of my stash. And bye-bye for now.